This is my sort of like Moby Dick is the croissant. It's like I cannot. There's people that keep saying they figured it out. I haven't tried one yet that tastes like a real croissant. Like
Never
the
ever.
flakiness. I
That's
feel like I
where we're
need to go to
going.
Paris now.
The internet wants you to know a little about everything,
A headline here, a trending topic there,
just enough to have an opinion.
but never enough to understand.
This is You Know Too Much.
A show about the opposite.
The people who go all the way down the rabbit hole,
The collector,
the overthinker.
the obsessive.
This is You Know Too Much.
America Fair, and I know too much about making gluten-free baked good that actually taste amazing.
Erica, I am so excited to talk to you today because even when my friends say they're gluten free, I never remember and I never understand it.
Mm.
And I do think that there's been like this huge explosion in gluten free products compared to when we were kids and
Oh my gosh, yeah,
earlier.
totally.
But I need to know what is, how did we get here?
How did we get
How did
here?
I get here? Oh my God, the how did I get here is a good one. So, a little backstory. I worked in fashion, graduated college, thought I was going to be, a famous fashion designer. That obviously didn't work out. But I worked in a lot of different spaces and then for like 10, 11 years, then I was like, this is crushing my soul, making tiny mini skirts that are thousands of dollars for no reason. I was like, this is not working for me. And so in between that time, I had lived in New Zealand and I worked at a gluten-free bakery. I interned, which is really funny to people in New Zealand because they were like, wait, you want to work for free at our bakery? And I was like, yeah, yeah, I
You were
don't
like
know anything about this.
jobbing at the bakery? That's
It was
amazing.
yeah.
American capitalism?
Yeah, I was like, have you heard about this? This is what we do. We try to learn everything for free because no one wants to pay us. But they were like, okay, weirdo. So like one day a week, I would like ride my bike to this little bakery, learn a bunch of stuff, and I was like, oh, this is what I need to do. This is actually what I really, really love. So like come back to New York, work in fashion, but in the middle of it all, I'm like, this is, it's paying the bills, it's doing what it's doing, but I was like, I really need to start this. So I did.
Drove you to want to do this though? If you're
I,
like,
I was gluten free. And
yeah,
so like that, sorry, I forgot that part. But yeah, I'm gluten free and everything was always kind of gross. And so then I was like, oh, I could do this. I've always sort of baked and sort of made things. And I was like, but when I started doing it like for fun and like I was like, oh, I actually really, really like this. This is what's actually making me more excited.
Bakery that you interned at, was that a gluten-free bakery or that was
Yeah.
just like a standard bakery?
No, it was a gluten-free bakery. And
yeah.
like that was in like 2009, which was crazy because like other countries seem to have a little more of a leg up on like things of this nature. Everywhere I went, every coffee shop had something gluten-free, had some sort of option. But like here in America, it was like, yeah, here's the sad little thing that we made that you aren't going to enjoy.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I can totally do this. So coming back to New York, work in fashion, do my thing, realize I don't like it, start like baking at nighttime and trying to like figure out how this all works. And I just went to random coffee shops around New York City and was like, hey, do you want to buy a gluten-free muffin? Hey, like, and
Really?
think coffee. Yeah, think coffee was the first like big coffee shop that actually were like, yeah, sure, weird girl, we'll buy
Why
your
not?
muffins.
You got
And they
pink
did.
hair and fashion. But wait,
They were like, you
why?
look cool. I
I
don't
want
know.
more about the baking of it and the
Yeah,
grossness of it
the
and what
grossness of it. Yeah.
is
Is there
why?
grossness
Why
to it?
Back
before?
in the day. Yeah. So,
Right?
like,
Why?
because I don't think people understood what it was. And they were like, oh, rice is gluten free. We're only going to use rice flour. And it's so dry and grainy and sad. And
Okay.
then I think as, the world became more like wellness focused and everyone got like hyper aware of things and food, they were just like, hey, beans can make flour. Hey, like this other stuff, tapioca, starch, there's so many gluten-free flours that you can now just like mix and match and make things. And that's sort of what I do. It's not very scientific. There's a lot of people that are like, have like science degrees.
Yeah.
I don't. I do I do the more
Looks like
creative aspect of things.
looks like a
It's
scientist today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's the white.
Yes,
It's the white.
it's
It's my
white.
lab coat-esque.
Yeah.
It sounds
Yeah,
sciencey.
very
It is
sciencey.
So,
like I
what's
tell
the
Brian, my
deal?
husband,
What's
I'm
the deal with the flowers, though? Like
yeah,
beans?
so like yeah, like garbanzo bean flour or chickpea flour is like a huge one we use. But
Okay.
like in other cultures, yeah, they're like duh. But for, us dum-dums Americans, we're like,
Get it
oh
together.
yeah. We had to like figure it out. So like I use garbanzo bean, there's sorghum, which is like some sort of grain. There's a tapioca starch, there's arrowroot starch, potato starch, brown rice flour, regular rice flour. There's so many rice flours too
Yeah.
that are made from like sushi rice, so it's a little more like stickier.
Mm,
Or and there's just like different almond meal, which is a whole new thing, like
mm,
grinding up almonds, make a flour. It's super awesome.
Oh,
Like even the paleo people, like with their coconut flour, that's sort of a thing that people were into. And so just learning about all of the specific aspects of it, you just play around and you're like, oh, if I put this with this and this, it makes this sort of texture. And I
mm.
just know for us at the bakery, it's very like specific of like, I know this combination of flours is going to make this type of product. So like
wait, but
for
how do
our cookies,
you know that? Why do you know that?
I don't know. It's a lot of experimenting, which is super fun. And also like a million cookbooks I've read. The internet is fascinating, especially like now there's so much information. But yeah, like it's just playing around and being like, yeah, this will work. Oh, this is a terrible idea. This was disgusting.
What's the worst gluten-free flour you've ever worked with?
I don't like coconut flour. I
Okay.
think it's like it sucks up every ounce of moisture you put into something. It just sucks it all
Yeah,
up.
you
So
don't
you
want that.
have to like go crazy with the ratios. And I don't really think it does anything flavorful. Like it just tastes like coconut after a while. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that's cool if that's what you're going for. But
sure.
that's more like a paleo vibe where they're just like no grains and stuff like that.
Is gluten-free thing supposed to taste like the regular thing? Is that it's like that? Is that
That's my goal.
really the expectation, or that's your goal? Okay.
That's my goal. A lot of people, I think, just are like, oh, I'm going to make a gluten-free cookie just to make a gluten-free cookie. But I find like some of the textures are a little bit off. They add too much sugar to compensate for like how weirdly the texture is. But for
Yeah.
me, my goal, every time I try and make something, I try and make it so that it's this texture that I remember from when I used to eat that thing. Sometimes I'll gluten myself just to be like, do I remember what an actual cinnamon roll tastes like? And then you're like, and then that's really bad because then I don't feel so good. But that cinnamon roll is damn good. And like the texture to me is really important.
That's a
Like,
good point.
yeah, like you want a cake to taste like cake and not just be some dry, sad thing. And like a cinnamon roll has that very specific inner goo, you
Density.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like that weird glue, but it's sweet deliciousness, you know?
Cook.
Can you
But
make
not,
a gluten-free cinnamon roll that tastes
yeah,
proper?
I did it.
And we'll be right back after this. We spotted big ad agencies staffing their accounts with untrained children. That's why Tiny Ad Agency puts the founders on every assignment, so you get brand stories. Get Tiny today at tinyadagency.com.
Hydration has been over-designed. That's why Ooze Birch Water is a return to simplicity. 100% organic birch sap, nature's version of reverse osmosis. And now, back to the show.
I did it. I'm trying to figure out how to get them to people.
Yep.
It's also a fun thing to worry about when you're like, oh yeah, like I have this bakery here and I'm delivering to all over the city and
Mm.
like and beyond. And you're like, how do I get it to them so that by the time it gets to you, it's not going to be sad and weird
Yeah.
looking and because like when you pull a cinnamon roll right out of the oven, it looks amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I bake it and ship it to you overnight, it might be a little bit weird in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Come out your
So,
window.
yeah, that's true. Just chuck them.
Venmo me and I'll drop it for you. Is there, so on the opposite side, is there any item that you're like, I'm just never going to touch it because it's just never going to be that gluten style? Like,
I
not fuck
Yeah.
with
Like,
it.
this
why
is
bother?
Yeah.
this is my sort of like Moby Dick is the croissant. It's like I
Ooh.
cannot. There's people that keep saying they figured it out. I haven't tried one yet that tastes like a real croissant. Like
Never
the
ever.
You go to Paris?
flakiness.
I feel like
I
that's
feel like I
where
need
it's
to go to
happening,
Paris now. I feel
right?
like I sorry, I
You know too much on the book?
I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to put that in the budget. But yeah, no, that's the one where I've tried many, many times and I can't figure it out. There's something with the butter and they need gluten. Like it needs that gluten to sort of hold it all together.
That
That's
chemistry, right?
that whole science part. Yeah, like with gluten, I try to explain to people like when you're like stretching like pizza dough, that stretchiness is that's gluten. And so if I were to make pizza dough, it does not do that. It just rips, you know? So
Well,
like
none of the
yeah, it doesn't matter. None of the flours. You can get some sort of things, and there's weird like things like psyllium husk, which is like a fiber that people
Yep.
use to
Yep.
like for things. Xanthan gum, you can add to things. Then you get like a lot of people that are like, I'm allergic to that. That makes my tummy hurt. There's so many people where they're like, oh, I need it to be gluten-free, vegan, sugar-free,
Alien.
like and you're like, good God. I was like, I can't do it
Magical.
all. It's like I can do maybe two of those.
You and
So
it
I
tastes
try.
like cardboard.
And exactly. I'm like, just maybe eat an apple or
Yeah.
drink some water. That's all I got for you.
Yeah. Be the same thing.
Yeah. I'm like, it's all right. I can do what I can.
What's the other like essential thing in like gluten-free baking? Like other than like, okay, here's all these flours. Obviously you're not
Hmm.
gluten, but like what is
Hmm.
the other sort of staple? What are the other elements to this?
Yeah, I think it's a very similar to regular baking. Like you use sugar, you use vanilla, you use butter. For us, when we do vegan stuff, there's a lot of coconut oil. There's a lot of different like substitutes that you can use. People are getting very creative with vegan butter now too. Like so you get lots of stuff from them, making it out of cashews. There's a lot of vegan cashew situations going on. Yeah.
Cashews
And I
are
think that
versatile. Cashews are very versatile, right?
oh yeah, and they're like creamy. So like you get that sort of also another texture thing where it doesn't melt properly. There's like people are doing a lot of crazy stuff with food right now. I mean, there's a lot of fake meat, so why not
Yep.
fake butter, you know?
Right. Right.
And there's a lot of like actual scientists where I'm just like messing around in my kitchen, being like, "Oh, I know these three things work." I look at recipes all the time and I'm like, oh, "Okay, how can I figure out what the ratios are for me, what's going to work in that capacity. But sometimes you get stumped and you make things a lot and you're like, oh no, this is not going well.
Yeah.
You just have to like restart yourself. Kind of be like, okay, let's just go back to the beginning. What does this recipe really look like? How
Mhm.
can I like, sometimes I get too excited and change three things at once. And then I'm like, oh no, you're only supposed to change one thing at a time. But
Too far away from
Yeah,
the
you don't know what you
genesis of
did.
the croissant.
Well, you don't
exactly,
know what you did
exactly.
wrong or what you did right if you did.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. I was like, so my science isn't very good in that aspect. So I have to be like, okay, do just change one thing and then go from there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get really excited and you're like, because you also want to eat it too. So you're like,
Of
what is
course.
this thing gonna taste like?
Right. I'm just thinking about all the terrible, not even gluten-free, but just like disappointing croissants that I've had in my life.
Oh,
Like,
there's so
such
many.
a stat.
I think you're
Well,
like, this is just bread in a croissant shape. This is not like a croissant.
the
What's
stretch, you're chasing the stretch. That's
Chasing the stretch. There's always a stretch. Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
The texture, the taste.
yeah. It's sort of, I don't know, the challenge is also fun as well to just take something that people are requesting and being like, how do I figure out how to make it? So I really like that part of it. That was my whole life before too in fashion was like taking what people made and making it like to the end and problem solving and figuring it all out. So that's just sort of carried on through this, where it's like taking that problem and being like dissecting it and figuring it out and then being like, ta-da, I made a thing.
Yeah, I'm just curious. And is there something that when you did have your gluten-free bakery, because I know you sold it, what was like the highest requested item? What was
Oh
the thing
yeah.
that sold out the most? Thing
It's
that
a very good
everybody
point.
wanted, but you hated making, but you had to make it. Y'all loved it. Like, I need to know the
Yeah, let's see.
mechanism of
The
this.
thing, the thing people love the most, it seems to be our right now, our zucchini bread, which is also vegan.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like crazy flying off the shelves. And they're just these little mini loaves that are like, a couple inches. Super
Mhm.
delicious, but like they're vegan and gluten free. Nobody knows the difference.
Yep.
And then I would say the next is our banana bread, which I took a recipe from my mom's cookbook from like her like great grandmother. And it was like, full of lard and like weird ingredients from back in the day. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be fun. And then
Historical recipe.
a very historical. Someone told me I should like get it like framed, like blow it up and frame it. And I was like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just taking those and like making them into ours. So those two are the biggest things. The thing I hate making the most, I don't really like making bread or like bagels or things like that. It's not my favorite. I really love sweet stuff. So like that is where I really like go towards. That's why I think the croissant is like the thing that I'll get to. Everything other stuff just
Moby
trumps it
Dick.
every now and then. Moby Dick.
I love that.
Someday.
Amazing.
I was like, if I ever have one that tastes good, I will like be like, yes, I will buy a million of them. But it's impossible to me. I really like making cakes for people.
Is there any other dark
Gluten fun facts?
whole gluten?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, yeah, when you guys were talking to me about this, I was like, I'm not like an expert because I just mess around in the kitchen all the time. And that's sort of like the creative part of me where I'm just like a little this, a little that. Like I kind of know what the majority of things do, but like it's kind of funny when I'm like looking at the world and like, scrolling through Instagram and being like, oh, these people like know stuff. Like, oh, they're like real experts. I think my husband bought me a cookbook and I was like reading it and I was like, oh, this is too much science. I was like, I'm not actually a scientist. Like, I'm just gonna add more water and then figure it out from there.
This has been an absolute delight.
Oh, thank you.
And so I'm just going to say, well, I mean, that's all we have for today's episode of You Know Too Much. A huge thank you to Erica.
Thank you.
I know about gluten-free baking and all of the non-science creativity parts of it.
Yes.
Honestly, now I feel like I know too much.
I love it. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, leave us a review, share it with someone who'd love it, especially if they're gluten-free. Explore more episodes and behind-the-scenes content at youknowtoomuch.media.
Follow us on Instagram and YouTube to keep the obsession going. Thanks so much, Erica.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So great to hear all of your tales.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
See you next
Bye-bye.